We're never doing that again.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep, baby. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hello, bro, Cam.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep, baby. We got the new setup going. Cam is not feeling good. He's in the Jordan flu game, so I'm going to have to be Jaylen Brown and pick it up in this one. Hopefully, it's actually not like Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Brown, now that I think about it. But
Yeah, that was a terrible comparison. He shot 9
shouldn't
for
be like that
20,
at all.
19. He's just not that guy, bro.
No, he's not that guy.
Not the one.
But let's start out with this. As you guys know, the bar's at the bottom. We're going to have each of our topics. We're going to start with our first 3-minute topic for this one. It is going to be LeBron's IG story. Now, if you didn't see that, it should pop up on the screen right now. So just go ahead and read that over. And then if you're just listening, not watching, basically what it is an old video of LeBron that he got from an account called LBJ History, which is like his own history.
Imagine having an Instagram
fan
account.
Yeah.
It was like your name in history. That's crazy.
So basically the post says, I'm supposed to be number one on everybody's list. We'll see what happens when I no longer exist. And I believe that's a Jay-Z verse.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm not sure from which song. But yeah, so he posted that. He put that one on his story, which, you know, I guess it's LeBron. He can kind of do what he wants. But I guess I was DM'd by multiple people on our Instagram, and they were like basically saying he was going to ruffle some feathers. Because anytime LeBron even references that he might be the greatest player of all time, some old heads get pretty pissed. So
Well, it's funny because if you look at like past NBA players or Michael Jordan, if they say like if they're really confident in themselves and they believe that they're the best, they're like, oh, that's cold, bro. But when LeBron does it, they're like, dude, he's the most cocky player I've ever seen and blah, blah, blah. And like, you should just leave it up to everybody else. But all these listen, if you're going to be that good at a thing, you got to have a crazy ego. Honestly, you got to believe that you're the best to ever play the game. When you achieve as much as a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or that player of that caliber, though, all those guys have crazy egos. Like, you don't think Kobe thought he was the greatest ever?
yeah,
He could be anybody one-on-one or whatever.
we reward it in other areas, like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm the
saying.
greatest. We were like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the coldest quotes ever.
And like,
It's on
think about it like
t-shirts.
this. Okay, so kind of basically what you were saying, but LeBron's IG story, a lot of people are going to see that and be like, oh, he's cocky, he just thinks he's the best, and he's not. And he gets hate every time he references something like that. But what do you think gave Kobe and Jordan those killer instincts? It was the thought in their brain that I'm the best player in the world, and I'm going to win this game. So when it's them, it's killer instinct, but when it's LeBron, it's cocky arrogance. Like,
Yeah. Or like in the words of Michael Jordan, he's like, Charles Barkley getting MVP. That made me mad. And that was enough. That took a bit personal.
yeah, and I took that personal.
Yeah.
Which they seem to be dogs now. I saw a video of them that made
Him and Charles?
that made me laugh. Yeah,
Oh. I thought they didn't speak to each other for like a decade or something.
they were on.
That's how, because Charles Barkley criticized him as an owner of an NBA team, and Michael Jordan didn't speak to him for like 10 years. So that's the kind of mentalities that they have.
Yeah. And it's from what more can I say, by the way? I believe that's the blueprint. I'm not sure. Moving over to our next 3-minute topic. This one's going to be Nick Nurse is heading to the Sixers. Do you think that Nick Nurse can make a real difference in Philly and bring them any type of success?
I think they can,
Beyond
because
the
if
second
you
round.
look at a guy like Kawhi and Joel, I think they're kind of similar and like they don't play a lot of games. And it seems like Nick Nurse was able to maximize what Kawhi did. Like, we saw the best version of Kawhi Leonard when he was with Nick Nurse on the Raptors. He played like 60 games in regular season, then he was able to turn it up in the playoffs, played every single game in the playoffs, and had the best run of his career. So maybe we could see something similar to Joel Embiid.
And the Sixers should actually be more talented than that Raptors team overall. I mean, Siakam had a little bit of a breakout year that year, and then obviously Kawhi Leonard.
He was good. And then
But
Lowry.
To me, the Sixers have the talent to win the East. It's more just about I think that Nick Nurse might be more of like a Phil Jackson in L.A. Like, you got the guys, just be good with people.
I think that Joel Embiid needs to play more like a center. He needs to stop playing so much on the perimeter. And I think Nick Nurse will make him do that more.
Yeah.
Because, like, Joel Embiid, every single playoffs he's been hurt. We haven't seen him have a great playoff run like we've seen him in regular seasons. And I feel like Nick Nurse could be the guy that will break him out of that.
Do you think that Doc Rivers goes anywhere?
I hope not.
You think he might be done? It's kind of funny because
I just don't see what
the attraction is, right?
Yeah, like,
'Cause
where could he go? Like,
he won in Boston with a super team. Couldn't even
Yeah.
win the conference with L.A. with almost a super team.
Yeah.
And then obviously didn't win.
Couldn't even go to a
in
conference
Philly.
finals with the Clippers.
Or the Sixers.
Yeah. I mean, where else? If you're a team that's on the brink, like the Suns, Doc Rivers was rumored to be hired there. He literally hasn't gone to the conference finals since he won the chip.
So why?
So why would you get him? Makes no sense
Right.
at all.
Just because he won with KG and Paul Pierce, right?
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
But that team underachieved too. If you think about it, they only
Just
won
that
one
one?
title,
Yeah.
and they were all in their prime together. And LeBron,
And Rondo was even younger.
LeBron destroyed that dynasty.
But they weren't
Beat
afraid
him
of
like
him, though.
2 or 3 straight years.
They weren't afraid of
LeBron
him.
took him to 7 with freaking Mo Williams as his second best teammate.
Averaging 14 points per game
Yeah, that's
for the regular
insane.
season.
Yeah,
And was given an all-star.
that whole team's just delusional, bro. Like I like KG, but he's like just a tough guy. Paul Pierce thinks he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. Ray Allen just seems super bitter and thinks
I
he's
like
better
Rondo.
than he is. And then Rondo seems cool.
Yeah.
But like all those three, they all have like the biggest egos. No wonder they never worked out.
Oh, yeah,
Number
Ray
one.
Allen. I posted this, and I had to delete it because it did so bad. But I posted that clip of Ray Allen basically being like, I played both of them. Jordan's way better.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. Obviously, I
He
respect
played
if you have that
Jordan, he was
opinion,
freaking
but
20.
right.
And he played with LeBron when he was at the end of his career.
When Ray Allen was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if he ever. I guess he beat LeBron and couldn't beat Jordan, so it's gonna be. Anybody that says that is gonna want the guy that they lost to be better.
Yeah, I think his rookie year was like 96, 97. So it was like at the end of Jordan's career anyways.
Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, next 3-minute topic. It's going to be this. People have speculated that the Warriors dynasty might be done, but after this move, it kind of looks like it for real will be. Bob Myers steps down. If you guys don't know who he is, he's the Warriors GM. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the Warriors getting back to the mountaintop anytime soon, especially when you look at the teams coming up. Like the Kings are only getting better. I don't know if the Grizzlies are only getting better, but they should be. Obviously, the Nuggets are at the top of the mountain in the West right now. Lakers are a couple moves away. So for me, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
The Warriors dynasty is officially over because with their current roster, they cannot win an NBA championship. And when you lose a guy like Bob Myers, who's able to construct championship rosters again and again and again, you're not guaranteed that you're going to be able to rebuild a roster. So I look at them and I'm like, how are they going to get any better? What trades can they make?
Yeah.
And they don't have a genius like Bob Myers to put all this together and somehow like do sign-in trades and everything just seems to work out. I don't know how they get any better. Also, I feel like that Jordan Poole contract is just that destroyed them because now they have so little cap room because they owe Steph like $50 million, they owe Clay $40 million. Draymond has a player option for $30 million. So like, and Draymond's gonna want a contract this summer. How much is he gonna want? He's gonna want more than $30 million, or else he takes
Whatever
the
his
player
max
option.
is, I
So, yeah, though it's not looking good for the Warriors right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless they make a trade for LeBron, maybe they could do that.
Yeah, which Colin Cowherd was the one that proposed that from what I've seen. And it was basically Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Kuminga for LeBron. And that might be it.
But if you think the Lakers would do that, you're out of your mind. If you think the Lakers would trade LeBron for Jordan Poole, Wiggins, and a bag of chips. There is no way the Lakers would do that. LeBron will never be traded in his career. That's just not going to happen. He's one of those players that just won't be traded. Unless he literally said, hey, I want to go here, and I'm demanding a trade. Other than that, the Lakers won't trade him. There's no way. I mean, he just dropped 40 in the elimination game. He's still got a lot of gas in the tank.
Some gas. 31 in the first half. I'd like to see it for a full
he's
game.
good for Spurs.
Because that third quarter, it wasn't even that he was like keeping the same intensity and missing. He just quit shooting the ball.
He just kept passing around. He was so tired.
Yeah, he quit shooting the ball in the third quarter. I'm chilling on that, though. And while we're on the topic of LA and LeBron, here's our first 5-minute topic. And this one's going to be, is it still Kyrie to LA? I know that before that you said that you wanted Kyrie to go to LA, but we kind of talked about it a little bit, and I don't know if you're still on that boat anymore.
Yeah, if you are the Lakers, you do not give up your entire depth for Kyrie Irving. Because, one, Kyrie, you never know what you're going to get. He's kind of a head case. There's going to be some drama that comes in when he goes to your team. And I feel like Austin Reeves is on the verge of being an all-star. He's proven that you're able to run the offense through him. You don't need a guy like Kyrie anymore. And you don't want to give up all your depth. You just saw what happened to all these different teams that give up their depth for a star. You just did it with Russell Westbrook, and it doesn't pan out. You need to keep your depth because that works in the playoffs. Yeah, exactly. The Suns. You need to keep your depth because that works in the playoffs. And just expect AD to come back better, Austin Reeves to come back better, Hachimura to come back better, and then get like a B guy in the offseason that can make and make shots. But you don't need to go out and get Kyrie Irving, give him a crazy contract, and then lose all your depth. Because I feel like you're just going to take a step back at that point.
So, but who are you going to get that can run the offense in a way that, like Austin Reeves, sure. But you still need a guy that is going to be a playmaker, runs the offense well, handles the ball well. Like maybe even like when Rondo was on the Bulls, like a Rondo on the Bulls, like he literally doesn't have to score at all.
Yeah, but Dennis Schroeder can't score. So I feel like they need more of like a shooting, like.
And you think Reeves is that guy?
Playmaker. No, I think
because
Reeves
LeBron's going to play what?
I
like
think
50
Reeves
games?
is that guy. I'm saying get another point. Like,
okay,
you need to get a center, and
yeah,
AD needs to
I
play
agree.
the stretch four. Hopefully, AD can start knocking down some threes. Because if you watch film from the 2020 year, AD was making threes. He shot like 35 and above from three. So put AD at the stretch four. Plus, if he plays that position, he can be more of a roamer on defense, or he's better anyways. He's not going to be guarding the center, and so I feel like he's more effective like that. Get a center like they had in Dwight Howard in 2020. Keep your depth, and then get somebody like a Rondo that can run the offense. But I feel like Rondo did end up scoring. He got better at shooting.
Well, that was playoff Rondo.
Yeah, he got better at shooting in the playoffs. But they needed someone who can run the offense when LeBron's off the floor and be able to make shots. A high IQ point guard.
I'm with that. So you don't like the guy from Toronto then?
Fred VanVleet. I mean, I think that'd be fine, but I don't know if he's even like a B guy anymore. I think they could trade for like maybe like Anthony Simons or something.
Like a guy of that caliber?
Something like that.
Or maybe
just
like
a good scoring guard or a good combo guard that can
like
that can run
Hornets Kemba Walker type guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's like a B plus.
He might have even gotten up to like
But
A-.
Kyrie, the thing about Kyrie is when he hasn't been on LeBron's team, he's been in the second round I think one time, but he still feels like he's that dude. So he's going to come in with that attitude. He's going to expect a lot of money, and I don't know if he's going to be able to just fit in a role.
So what about this? Succeed. What about this then? If you have to offer the same deal for both players, would you rather have Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard if you're LA?
Oh, Damian Lillard. That's not even a question. But then if you trade for Damian Lillard, you got to give up 80. Or maybe you think they would accept the Austin Reeves, Hachimura, and then like a pick and someone else?
I don't know. I keep Reeves at all costs.
If I'm the Boston Celtics, I'd try to go after Damian Lillard.
Really?
Yeah.
And get rid of Jaylen Brown? Yeah, I like that.
Because I just don't think that.
We'll get into that in a minute. Let's stay with LA. But yeah, we'll get into that. That is, as you guys know from the bottom bar, that's our 10-minute topic. But yeah, let's stay in LA for just a second, and then we'll go over to Boston. I don't know if we're out of time on that actually, but we got one more minute. I personally, with or without Kyrie, with or without Kyrie, it's going to be hard for me to accept that the Lakers are going to be competitors for the title. I mean, like, this year it felt like something was a little bit special. I will say this, that group only played like 8 games fully healthy altogether. Like LeBron, Lonnie doesn't get playing time. So maybe like if Lonnie gets, playing time with the first group, second group, obviously Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves come back. I don't know what's stopping me from just running it back with the same group.
Well, regardless of who they get in the offseason, the only way the Lakers will succeed is if Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker, and then AD looks himself in the mirror and says, I'm going to be that dude. I'm going to be one of the best players in the world. If that doesn't happen, they're not going to win the title. I don't care who they get. AD has to be the guy. He has to be like he was in the bubble and be a top 5 player in the NBA. And if he doesn't do that, I don't care who they get in free agency. They're not going to win.
Yeah.
So the most important thing for the Lakers is LeBron's rehab off his foot injury. And if AD can just look in the mirror and say, I'm going to get the keys and be the best player in the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which, I mean,
it
seemed like he did that game 1. I just don't know what's going on with AD to where it's not even not a nightly basis. It's like rare, especially in that last series. Like game 1, a flip was switched. And outside of that, there was nothing that showed me like, oh, this guy's
Game 1 he
top 5.
played well. He had 40, but they also were 40-20 in rebounds. AD has to be a dog in the paint and be able to grab every board. Like that's where he's the most valuable, is on defense and rebounding. He can give you like 23, 24, that's fine. But where he excelled, like the Warriors had no answer for him on the defensive end, and that's why we lost that series, because of his block, or we won that series because of his blocks and his deflections and just disrupting everything the Warriors were doing. That's when AD's the most valuable. I can live off him scoring like 23, 24 game, but if he can just dominate the paint, get block shots, deflections, and rebound, then that's going to do the Lakers more than if he averages 35. I mean, that's just more important for this team. But also, I feel like getting a center will relieve some of that pressure off of him. So he might be more of a scorer. Like
Which
he was in
also, that's
2020.
another thing about game one is once they made those adjustments and he was the rummer, he kind of was playing like a stretch four.
Yeah.
Especially when LeBron was on
Jokic.
And obviously Rui on Jokic as well. Do you know what season he's about to enter his 7th season, Jason Tatum? And then we're going to go ahead and move over into our last topic for the day. Our 10 minutes, or actually we got predictions after this. So first, our first and only 10-minute topic with being the Celtics Heat series. As you guys know, the Heat ended up winning that series in 7 games, which was a surprise after being up 3-0. 8. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of analysts that I've watched so far today have basically pointed towards the Jason Tatum, like, ankle injury as the turning point of the game, which was in the very first quarter. So, not much of a turning point, more of just like a straight downhill collapse. Yeah. And they basically lost all home court advantage early because they were down by 25 in the second quarter. So, basically nothing after that. And it looked like their offense had no juice after that as well. But I'll say this. And it's tough for me to say this because I don't even know if I truly believe it, but I would say 90% I'm in on this. And that's that I just don't see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown winning NBA Finals as the premier duo. Like, I don't see them as the premier duo winning the NBA Finals together. And I don't know what it's going to take. To me, I'm sort of leaning towards, trading Jaylen Brown. When you look at Jason Tatum, right? He was last in the NBA in shooting percentage off the dribble. And he's supposed to be your playmaking superstar player. And he's the last. And then when you look at Jaylen Brown, he has 8 less turnovers than he has assists in the playoffs. 8. I think it's like 233 turnovers to 241 assists. You can't win with that formula. They bicker, they fight, and I'm not talking about verbally. I don't know anything about them. But on the court, both guys want to be like, all right, I'm taking over this game. And that's something that we've talked about. When you look at the Miami team with LeBron and Dwayne Wade said, LeBron, it's your team, take over. There's something to that, especially like when you're the guy and okay, every single person on this team believes in me to win this game. It's a completely different feeling. But when you know that in the back of your head, I'm Jason Tatum, if I start to do bad, they'll just all look to Jaylen Brown. Like, it just doesn't, it's a completely different thing. And I think Jason Tatum, there's part of him that wants to be the guy because he does take the shots. But I just don't see this duo being able to come together and being the premier duo on an NBA team, NBA championship team. So I don't know. I guess you had mentioned earlier trading Jaylen Brown. I could get behind that. Because to me, Jason Tatum's going to have that belief in the entire organization from top to bottom that he's the guy. They ride with him, and where he goes, they'll follow. But it's just not like that on the Celtics right now.
Also, Jason Tatum had 8 games of 30, 10, and 5, which ties LeBron James for the most in an NBA playoff history. So Jason Tatum is better than Jaylen Brown. There is no question there. He is the number one guy. And especially like if you get a guy like Dwayne Wade who was established as he is to tell LeBron, hey, you're the guy. I mean, yeah, that does wonders for a player. And I feel like their duo reminds me a lot of LeBron and Dwayne because I don't think LeBron and D Wade's game really complement each other. The only time it did was in transition, but in the half-court offense, which is mostly in the playoffs, it was just ISO one-on-one play. So I feel like Dwayne Wade and LeBron didn't really complement each other like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't either because they both have to have the basketball to be effective, and they're both not super good playmakers. Like Jason Tatum isn't a really good playmaker and Jaylen Brown isn't a good playmaker. They're both just really good two-way players. They're the exact same player. Jason Tatum's just better.
Right.
So I feel like they don't complement each other.
And that's
enough
huge.
to win a championship. But if
That's huge.
if you get a guy like Damian Lillard, who has one of the best handles in the league, one of the best shooters in the league, and is a good playmaker, I feel like that complements Jason Tatum, where they can actually go out and win a championship. But when you have a guy like Jaylen Brown, who just takes the ball from Tatum, takes away his scoring, and doesn't make him better, then I feel like
Which goes back to that.
They're not going to win a championship.
Which goes back to that stat that I was saying earlier, because I don't know if I explained this well enough, but when you have a guy like Jaylen Brown that has 8 less turnovers than he has assists in the entire postseason, and you have a guy like Jason Tatum that is shooting so poorly off the dribble, it would only make sense to have his complementary piece, a guy that can get him looks where he doesn't have to shoot off the dribble, where he can catch and shoot. So Jaylen Brown's not that guy. And if you can trade him and get, a third-team All-NBA guy that does complement him well, I think that's going to do more wonders for your team than having a second All-Team NBA guy like Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a slightly worse player that complements Jason Tatum is going to be better for the Celtics organization.
And another problem with Jason Tatum and Brown is like you're going to have off shooting nights in the NBA. That's just going to happen, but you got to impact the games another way. Like they do not make for other guys on their team. Like they don't make their teammates better. Like Jaylen Brown shot 9 for 23 and Jason Tatum shot 5 for 14. Now I know Jason Tatum was injured, but I didn't see them just make other guys better and play make.
Yeah,
they're just really good two-way players.
Right. And you don't need both of those.
Yeah, you don't need both.
You're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean Kawhi and Paul George are kind of similar, and they really haven't had success either.
Yeah, and all that's health, obviously.
Yeah, that's health. A lot of that's health, but that's just two-way players. They're the same player.
Right. I agree. I can agree with that. Which, again, I don't know the answer, but I know the problem.
I know the answer is to go out and get Damian Lillard. That's the answer.
To get Damian Lillard?
Yeah. That dude's
Maybe
as
so.
clutch as can be. He's had playoff experience and he's hungry. He's getting older. His window is closing. He's gonna make a push to win the title in the next 2 years. That's the guy I want on my team. And you know what the Boston Celtics had a problem with the whole series? Closing games. Who's better than Damian Lillard to do that for the Celtics? That just seems like a match made in heaven to me.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Like, look at what Philadelphia lost. Jimmy Butler. He was their closer. They can't close games either. You have to have a closer in this NBA. Even the great Cavalier teams with LeBron and Kyrie. I mean, LeBron closed sometimes, but Kyrie was also a closer. You have to have one of those dudes on your team.
Yeah. Well, and Kyrie can ISO and LeBron can play make.
Yeah.
Like, it's similar. The NBA is similar to just a regular relationship in real life. Like when you're looking for a partner in life.
Kind of like Colin Cowherd.
You need someone that takes your weaknesses and it's their strengths. It's the same in the NBA. When you look at great duos, Jordan, great scorer. Obviously, defense is different, but great scorer. Pippen, rebounder, assist, playmaking, guarding the other team's best player, allowing Jordan to do what he does best, which is score. Then when you look at Shaq, Kobe, obviously, personally, some clash there, but on the court, the match made in heaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So similar like relationships in real life, and like we said, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, strengths very similar, weaknesses very similar. So I don't think Jaylen Brown. He showed me last night that he doesn't have the ability to step up and take over at will. Now, will he do it sometimes? Yes, but that might just be because he's hot. I don't know if he can be like, all right, Jason Tatum's gonna only shoot 10 to 14 shots. I really need to step up here. Derek White has it because he did, but Jaylen Brown, I really don't think he has it. And I'll tell you who else has it is Caleb Martin. That dude is crazy. Caleb Martin shot 60% in this series.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument that Caleb Martin was the real MVP of that series.
There's an argument, but
I mean, you got to give it to Jimmy Butler.
You got to give it to Jimmy Butler. Had 5 more points per game, had like twice as many rebounds, way more assists, and had averaged 2.6 steals per game. Is no one going to talk about that? 2.6 steals.
Yeah, that's really good.
I mean,
and he was guarding Tatum.
And you're right, and he was guarding the best player.
Yeah, he was switching off Tatum and Brown, so he was doing a really good job. But yeah, it was a very disappointing series for Jaylen Brown. He just didn't shoot well. He didn't really do a lot of things well. And another thing about Jaylen Brown, when you're watching him play, I feel like he's so inconsistent because he takes so many tough shots. Like his game looks really hard. Like he takes really tough middies. He takes ill-advised threes, so just chuck up some threes. He has to get – I feel like the big problem with his game is he really needs to get better at dribbling to get some more space to be able to drive better. But the shots that he's taking are extremely difficult, and when they go in, you're like, what the heck? This guy is spectacular.
Right.
But sometimes he'll
But
just keep
he's
missing and
shooting
missing.
those exact shots 20%.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. And
yeah.
he's not getting to the free throw line.
Yeah.
And it's
All right, we're going to go over to our official finals predictions. Obviously, the series starts on Thursday. We're saying this on Tuesday. I know my prediction.
My prediction is that
Team and the amount of games they win.
Yeah. My prediction is that the Nuggets will win in 5. I feel like the Heat are playing a more talented team, of course. But the difference between the Nuggets and the Celtics is they're a more mature team. They're not up and down like the Celtics are, and they have a better coach in Mike Malone. They're going to be prepared. They're going to be ready. They look really hungry. They don't play with their food. They just swept the Lakers, who was a very hot team at the time. Like, they're going to be coming in ready to play. They got the best player in the world in Jokic. If they can hit shots like they did against the Lakers, then there's no way the Heat will win. They will beat the Heat in 5.
All right. I have the Miami Heat in 7. And I said back in September, before the season even started, that I had the Miami Heat winning the NBA Finals this year. Here they are in the NBA Finals. Everybody doubted them. I won't. So I'm going to go with my guys. I don't feel comfortable about 5 games, so I'm going to stick with 7. For those of you that are going to say, oh, they'd have to be in the Nuggets in 7 games, they have played spectacular on the road all playoffs long. I'm not worried about being in Denver. Okay? I got Heat in 7. Let's go, Jimmy
I also think that they will have more scrappy defenders on Murray. Like they're a really good defensive team. They're gonna be super physical with Murray and all them boys. But
Tyler Hero might be coming back.
The key for the Heat is he can't have a Game 7 performance like he did last night, where he had like 14 and shot 4 for 10. That just can't happen. Like sometimes I'll watch Bam Adebayo and be like, this dude has no offensive bag whatsoever. Yeah, it's hard to watch. Like he has to average like 23, 24, and 10 for them to win the series. He's got to match Jokic in some way because Jokic is going to average a 28-point triple-double. And if you get no production from Bam on the offensive end, that's just not going to be good because there's going to be games where Jimmy has a great offensive game, a bad offensive game, and, people are up and down. But I know what Jokic is going to give me, and if they don't get anything from Bam and those bigs, then this can be tough for them to win the series.
I agree. All right, guys, that's all for episode number 63 of the Good Point Bro podcast. As you guys know, check us out on Instagram at goodpoint.bro, on Good Point Bro, on TikTok at goodpoint.bro, and as you guys know, on YouTube at the Good Point Bro podcast. Stay with us, man. Don't sleep. It's going to be fun. All right.
All right, peace.
Later.